environment, they release oxygen. But we also must know that the phytoplankton, which are microscopic in nature, they are also releasing oxygen and fixing the carbon dioxide similar to the terrestrial plants. So the phytoplanktons are very powerful, even though they are very tiny in nature. Even if you pick up a palm full of water, you will find thousands of phytoplankton in your palm, which is not visible, but they are doing the similar role which is the terrestrial plants are doing. And in that term, the phytoplankton are the base of the marine food web. That means they are producing the food which is being eaten by the higher organisms, and subsequently they are maintaining the environment in the polar or any marine environment, marine or oceanic environment. So that's what I want to highlight here, that every oxygen, alternative oxygen, what we are taking is coming from the oceans. So the next is, when this phytoplankton fix carbon dioxide, upon their death and decay, they sink into the ocean bottom. So as we know, where life is present, the phytoplankton can fix the atmospheric carbon dioxide with the help of sunlight and nutrients. And when they die, they subsequently sink to the bottom. And in this process, they carry the carbon into the deep ocean. And once the carbon is being sequestered or transferred to the deep ocean, it takes almost 1,000 years to come up to the air again. So that means the carbon which is released by us as by the anthropogenic activities are continuously sequestered and pumped into the ocean, deep ocean, and this is called biological pump. And this is happening 24/7 in this marine environment. So now let us have a look at why you should study polar oceans. As we know, India is a large country with having very big exclusive economic zone and a big coastline. So we may be having thinking, why the need to go to polar ocean, which is very, very far from here. So it is very interesting to know. Unlike lands, where you need to have visa to travel a country, the oceans are connected. We do not need any permission from traveling from one ocean to another until unless it is easier, exclusive economic zone of any country. So this picture is emphasizing the red and blue lines are the currents. Currents are nothing but the flow of water mass, which is traveling from one ocean to the other ocean, carrying heat and energy and nutrients. So as you see, the entire ocean is connected, starting from north to south. And this makes the ocean very, very important, and which is playing a very significant role in controlling the weather we are experiencing, starting from the snowfall to monsoon and so on. So, this is the graphics. What I would like to emphasize here, that there was no oceans demarcated 200 million years ago. 200 million years ago, there was only super ocean and a super continent known as Pangea. However, due to plate tectonics, the land or the tectonic plates started moving each other away from each other, and gradually the oceans were formed. So let us have a look at the Southern Ocean. Southern Ocean is the youngest ocean among all the oceans. So if you see this in the picture, you can see there is a blue area encircling Antarctica. So this blue area is maintained by ACC. ACC is talking about the Antarctic Circumpolar Current. This is the only one current in this globe which is circumpolar in nature. That means it is encircling Antarctica 24/7. And it is so powerful. If you combine all the rivers in the world and multiply by 150, so it transports that much amount of water every day. So you can see how huge it is. And this current is acting as a refrigerator door. Like just we store some things in the refrigerator and close the door to maintain the temperature. Similarly, this current is acting like a refrigerator door, which doesn't allow the cold water from Antarctica to move northward and the warm water from tropic regions to go towards Antarctica. That's why Antarctica is preserved or maintained very cool. So this is one of the oldest, the roughest, and remote and youngest ocean. Roughest is the sense you will have sea state level of 9 to 10, very usual. So getting any data from this ocean is very, very crucial and quite tricky sometimes. So this is the graphics. I think it will not work here. But what I would like to show is, these are the arrows which show the movement of the ACC, the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, which was not circumpolar in nature 30 million years ago. Because this tip of the Antarctica, which is called Antarctic Peninsula, was connected to the southern part of South America. And when the plate tectonics happened, this part was like opened up. So when it opened up, it started encircling the Antarctica 24/7, and that kept the Antarctica developed as a supercontinent full of ice. You can find up to 4 kilometers of ice in Antarctica. So there are many reasons why you should study Southern Ocean. I'm not going to detail. However, there are two things which I would like to highlight. The first thing is the Southern Ocean is playing a significant role drawing down the atmospheric carbon dioxide, because we are all concerned about carbon dioxide release and global warming. The Southern Ocean is playing a very important role in such. I'll show that how. And second thing is, it is a HNLC region. HNLC means high nutrient, low chlorophyll. Chlorophyll means the pigment which is present in the phytoplankton. So even though there are lots of nutrients, the chlorophyll, the pigments are very, very less. Why it is so? We'll study. We'll see that. So these are the two reasons. And considering this importance, the Minister of Science has started national programs to research Southern Ocean in detail. So my organization, which is the nodal agency for this expedition, has been carrying out expeditions since 2004 in this region. So we cannot go Southern Ocean all the time in year, because as you know, it is in polar region. And you can see in September, the ice extension is quite large. You cannot go by ship to this area. And this area becomes ice free during austral summer. That means from December to February, which is winter for us. Since it is in the Southern Ocean, which is summer for us, which is for them it is winter. So we go within this narrow window to do all kinds of research work and come back. So there are there's some problem with the slides. Okay, anyway. So these are the cruise tracks, like how we start from the where we start and where we collect samples. This shows. So basically, our expedition starts from Mauritius, because our aim is to spend more time in the Southern Ocean, which is very far. If we travel from India to Mauritius, the Southern Ocean, it will take more time. So we try to avoid the time and start from the as close as possible to Southern Ocean. I think there's some problem. Anyway, so these are the topics which we cover. Basically, we try to explain the biogeochemistry of the Southern Ocean as well as the hydrodynamics, how the current is flowing, how much water mass is being transported, how the heat is being generated, and how it is affecting the organisms, including the plankton and other organisms. So, of course, NCPR is not big enough. We have almost 43 scientists there. However, we take collaborations, or we do collaborations with all over India. You can see there are a list of institutes we join us and to address one particular topic, which is basically the role and response of Southern Ocean to the global climate variability. Basically, how is due to the ongoing climate variability, how the Southern Ocean is responding or behaving. So these are the vessels which we use for carrying expeditions, and some of our are Indian and some of our also chartered by us from Russia and Germany. And well, these are the topics I already covered, and some snapshots what we do on board. So I'll just quickly go through just to make it quick, because there's a time constraint. Can somebody help me? Yeah. Okay, there are some instruments which we use on board. There are starting from students which are from MSc to PhD, DSc, and the senior scientists. Everybody participates in these expeditions to carry out their respective objectives. So what they are doing. Okay, down to the research. So what we want to explain here. Most of the research what we carry in Southern Ocean is somewhat related to carbon dynamics. So we are really worried about how the carbon is being transferred or how it's being sequestered to the deep ocean. So let us have a look, because usually it is thought the Southern Ocean or the oceans are the sink of carbon dioxide, because as I explained earlier, the phytoplankton which fix oceanic or the atmospheric carbon dioxide, they pump the carbon dioxide to the deep ocean. That's why they maintain the atmospheric temperature. However, can we generalize the ocean is a sink or source? So that is quite interesting to study. So if you see here, this is the Southern Ocean area where we have high nutrients, but we have very low biomass. It means there is no much production. Now why it is happening? It has been found that iron is lacking in Southern Ocean. That means iron is required for the electron transport as well as protein synthesis in plants. So since iron is lacking, even though there is a lot of nutrients present, those nutrients are not utilized. That means they are piling up over the years. However, the plants are not able to utilize those nutrients, and that's why the plant growth is quite inhibited in those areas. However, it is found that even though there is a lack of iron, there are some instances, some small islands are present, and they also release iron to the like the ocean as an impulse, like in the pulse. So when this iron is present, so blooms takes place. Blooms means the like the exuberant growth of phytoplankton, and blooms are so important. When it happens, it sequesters lots of carbon dioxide into the ocean. So it has been calculated whenever there is a bloom occurs, which is almost 300 to 400 kilometers in radius. So that helps to sequester the atmospheric carbon dioxide into the deep ocean. And it is found that those areas of high productivity is also located in the coastal area, which is the tip of the South America and Antarctic Peninsula. So what happens here? The bottom, the basement is quite shallow, which triggers the mixing of the water mass. So when the water mixes from bottom to top, it brings out the nutrient which is stored in the sediment to the upper layer. And once it is available to the plankton in the upper layer, they utilize it and proliferate. So during our measurements, we also found out, if you can see this right side, it is the phytoplankton biomass measured by satellite. You can see there is no much phytoplankton biomass, but you can see there is a huge phytoplankton bloom here, and our ship was here. This is only 1 year in situ. This is climatology, means over the years how it looks like. So what I want to emphasize here is, even though we do not see the phytoplankton bloom often, but there are some instances when the phytoplankton bloom can be very, very large and sequester the carbon dioxide, and these events have to be recorded and monitored frequently to understand how the ocean is playing a role to control the atmospheric carbon dioxide cycle. So there are many studies which is starting from our group, and which is showing that the Southern Ocean, being a very cold water mass, which is playing a very big role in sequestering carbon dioxide, it also contributes carbon dioxide to the Earth. I think because of slide problem, I did not show you the slide. What I want to say here is the ocean, which is containing lots of carbon dioxide in it, if it comes out to the surface, there will be 34-degree increase in temperature. Just imagine what temperature right now we have. If all the carbon dioxide which is stored in the ocean, if it comes out, it will increase 34-degree temperature. That means you can see it's a storehouse of carbon dioxide, and it is playing such a role to maintain the global temperature. So there have been some locations identified in the oceans where the carbon dioxide is not going down, rather it is coming out. So those locations are nothing but where the water is getting warm. So basically, when the water is getting warm, the DIST, the dissolved inorganic carbon, which is present in the water, it pops up. So when it pops up, it contributes to the atmospheric carbon dioxide, and then it increases the temperature. So we have to also monitor those areas, what is happening and how it can be controlled. So in this background, we all know that the Earth is warming because of anthropogenic activities. So in that context, usually there is a question whether the productivity of the ocean is declining, whether the diversity of the species are declining or increasing. So let us have a look at the Southern Ocean. So okay, important slides are not visible. Anyway, so as per the IPCC report, the atmospheric carbon dioxide is increasing, and if the business goes as usual, by the end of this century, we will have 2 to 3 degree increase in the temperature. So if there is an increase in temperature, that will affect the oceanic water, because when the water gets warmed up, it becomes acidic. Acidic means the pH of the water reduces. So when it reduces, it affects many of the organisms which lives in there. So those organisms will be gradually wiped out from the oceans. However, this kind of symptoms are not been observed in Southern Ocean, even though it started giving symptoms in the tropical regions. So this picture shows the left-hand side is the present scenario. Now, and this picture is the future scenario, maybe after 100 years or 80 years. So basically, it's a bit complicated picture, but the main point what I wanted to show is, when the solar insolation increases or the atmospheric temperature increases, it tries to heat up the water mass in the surface ocean. So when the water mass is heated up, it becomes lighter. So when the water mass becomes lighter, it starts to stay in the upper layer. And it becomes so strong, the plankton which are residing in there, they cannot penetrate deep easily. So they try to reside in that area or that layer and try to use the nutrient available there. Actually, nutrient is also coming from the below where it's not utilized. When the water mass is mixing, it is also bringing the nutrients. But when there is a stratification or the layer is formed, the plankton is restricted to the upper layer, which is inhibiting their growth. So that might happen in the future if the water mass is warming up and it will restrict the plankton to stay in the upper layer and thereby reduce the carbon pump. That means if the productivity in this area is reduced, it will also reduce the carbon pump into the deep ocean. So it is also found that if you travel from north to south to the polar oceans, there will be a change in species phytoplankton species. It's not very new, but the interesting thing is the size is changing. When you go to the cooler water, you can find the larger plankton. When you go to the little warmer water, you find smaller plankton, which can thrive within the minutes of nutrients. As we know, the smaller planktons need more nutrients because of their body to volume ratio, mass to volume ratio. So you can see towards south, we can have larger planktons which are best suited in that area. Okay, so this is also recently found that Antarctica is known to have diatom growth. Diatom is a phytoplankton. I know many of you are geology background, but I think we know this phytoplankton is a larger plankton. We have studied our basics. So that area is now being replaced by a new kind of plant, which is called cryptophytes. They are small in nature and less effective in carbon sequestration. So what is happening because of the warming water? These plants are preferring to grow in that area more rather than what was used to be before. So this scenario is a bit worrying because if this continues, then the carbon cycle will be the rate of carbon cycle will be slowed down in this polar area. This is a picture, not going to detail. What I want to show is this is a model work. This paper published by Henson et al. In Nature. So what they basically say is, in future, when the temperature increases, especially the polar area, the biomass will increase. Now the polar area is low biomass because of low island. However, it will increase in future. And the species richness, the diversity of the species, including the plankton, copepores, will decrease. And one particular species will try to dominate. And there is this slightness of change, the particular species also change. That means the resilience will also decrease. So the temperature warming can change the resilience, the percentage of biomass, as well as the diversity in the polar oceans or in the global oceans, in fact. Well, this is a slide which shows that the Southern Ocean can contribute as a sink, basically, but it can also as a source. And this is basically showing, due to warm water mass, the productivity in the Southern Ocean is not decreasing, rather increasing. So there may be a question how the productivity can be increased in the heated up environment. As you know, Southern Ocean is basically cool region, and there is a very low light because of the solar angle. It is in the bottom of the earth because of solar inclination. The light is very less there. But when the earth is warming up, the ice is melting, and the plankton which are residing below the ice, they are getting exposed to the light. So that means the light availability to the plankton is increasing because of global warming. That's why the area which was relatively less productive is getting more productive time to time, and the tropical area where we are residing is getting less productive. So we have to think in future how we can have sustainable exploitation of or sustainable utilization of the polar areas for betterment of our society. So this is one slide which shows that Southern Ocean is getting greener. Greener means it's getting more productive time to time because of increased day length and warming also. So in summary, I would like to conclude here that finding which area is most productive and less productive in Southern Ocean is a very big question. It is still not clear that if you go from north to south, where you can find the most productive region. However, there are fronts that I also could not show. So fronts means basically the place where the water mass mixes to each other or meet each other. So that area is very famous for high productive region. And second thing is the Southern Ocean can act as a sink and also as a source. So we have to identify those places where it is releasing the carbon dioxide stored inside the ocean. And second thing is the Southern Ocean is getting greener. The usual notion is because of global warming, the ocean productivity is going down. However, as of now, the polar oceans are not showing those symptoms it is rather getting more productive. And plankton diversity and cell size will decrease. The cell size of the plankton will gradually decrease because of the warming, and also the productivity will also decrease. And impact of acidification, that means the decrease in pH of the ocean is also going to happen. However, no such symptoms has been observed yet in the Southern Ocean. And iron and light is the most influential factor which is controlling Southern Ocean productivity in this polar region and as well as Arctic also. So with this, I would like to conclude my session. And there are some future activities. We have not done some activities. We are planning to deploy more automated measurements, because as I said, we are going only for 3 months. But the entire year we don't know what is happening there because it is full of ice. So we are planning to deploy some kind of automated measurements or moorings which can give us data throughout the year, so that we'll have a better understanding of the ecosystem, what is happening there. And I would like to thank the organizers once again for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts, and thank to my institute and the Minister of Earth Sciences, and thank you for listening. Last time, you can hear it.
So my question is, there is a DIC, digital inorganic carbon, in some locations it is going down. What would be the reason?
Yeah, I think I answered it. Okay, that's a good question. DIC is called dissolution of inorganic carbon, dissolution. So when the water is warming up, as you know, Southern Ocean is basically polar area, but the water is constantly trying to come away from Antarctica, and the warmer water is trying to push into Antarctica, and this is being controlled by the ACC, Antarctic Circumpolar. So whenever they meet each other, there are some certain points around 46 to the south, where the cooler water is getting warmed up. So once it is warmed up, it is trying to release the inorganic carbon which is present. So basically, it is temperature which is trying to release the inorganic carbon present in the deeper ocean. So that's why it is coming out. Can you please?
I cannot hear you.
It's compared to world ocean. Then the cause is because there are nutrients which is not utilized because of lack of iron. Iron is like a catalyst, like we have studied in physics. When we put a nuclear fission reaction, cadmium is required. It's a catalyst. If it is not present, it will not take process. So the moment you put iron, actually that side also I could not do anything, so time was not there.
The basically source of that nutrients, sir?
Source of nutrient
In the tropic
is the regeneration of all the dead materials which is happening in this one, and bottom resorption and atmospheric erosion deposition. Atmospheric deposition.
Sir, you told that chlorophyll content is very less. Then how the productivity is high?
The productivity is low. Productivity is low. I never said productivity is high. But
Let us gear up for the next invited talk. May I now request Dr. Vasudev Tripathi. Dr. Vasudev Tripathi, Senior Scientist, Zoological Survey of India, Ministry of Environment, Pune. His research area is biodiversity, community ecology, taxonomy, ecosystem services, sustainable management of natural resources, and biodiversity impact assessment and marine ecology. To his credits, he is a member of IUCN Species Survival Group for Marine Turtle Specialist Group and Horseshoe Crab Specialist Group. He has published more than 100 publications as peer-reviewed research papers, book chapters, and books. A Professional Association of Diving, Australia certified advanced open water diver for underwater exploration and a recipient of the Summer Fellowship for Marine Conservation from Duke Marine Laboratory, United States of America, as well as Jawaharlal Nehru Fund for the research work on the marine ecology. He has developed protocols for monitoring faunal resources of coastal and marine environment. Today we are going to hear him on the title, Application of Satellite Telemetry Technique in Sea Turtle Research along Odisha coast.
Party is scientist E of TIASRST, Calcutta. Now he is based in the center. Yesterday whole night he was at the Sibila beach. More than 1 lakh he taught to spell on nesting. So he left from there just now. And today he is the only leftover. He taught to expertise from this state now. Finishing products. Okay. Many of his seniors, juniors, they did many things. He taught to disciplinary already. He was in the employer in the Cameroon. And as you know, he loves sea. He goes to Lakadip, dives into the sea, does many other research, excluding sea turtles. And couple of years back, he started Beijing, went to Paris. He wanted to see in the deep sea where to the man. And he did making photography, which he might show some. But this part is excellent. That's why telemetry, some of you might have heard. Few years back, they did it at Utkal area. Okay. There is Dr. Tripathi. We were very close with each other for last several years since start of his career. Here is Dr. Tripathi.
Respected chairperson, invited guests, delegates for this international conference. Good morning to all. The title of the international conference, one is innovation in animal science research and other is social transformation. So social transformation, somehow I think I can relate that one tripartite is replaced by another tripartite. So, and the coincidence is that both the tripartites are from the same faculty, like from the same department, and they have started, marine research some time ago, but both have separated, one gone to the pole and one remain in local areas. So that's the kind of introduction with. And thanks to the organizing secretary that both of the parties are kept together. Coming to the first title, innovation in animal research. I am not going to tell anything on research. Rather, I am going to speak on the technology behind the research, what is required for the animal science. Here present, Dr. S.K. Datta, who has been witnessing the kind of research we are doing in Odisha for the last 25-30 years. And before that, his involvement in olive ridley sea turtle research. I think at least there are 3 people here in this conference hall who can witness olive ridley research. One is definitely Dr. Professor Datta, our organizing secretary, Sahu sir, and Madam Mahapatra. So, I am really privileged that in such a gathering I am presenting my talk, and I am also happy that with me present Professor B.P. Das. We have a long association for pursuit craft, not for sea turtle although. So let me start my talk. This is on application of satellite telemetry technique on olive ridley sea turtle research along Odisha coast. When we talk about biology, when we talk about research, when we talk about animal science, we can't forget olive ridley turtle sitting in Odisha. So just a little bit glimpses about the olive ridley sea turtle. So this is the smallest among the sea turtles found in the world. We are small, but we are big. So the migratory routes are quite vast for this species. Arivada, which is a term may be very peculiar for all of you, but for those who study ecological research or those who study like the population behavior and all, Arivada is a very famous term. Arivada means mass arrival. Any animal, ants Arivada, elephant Arivada, turtle Arivada, bird Arivada. Arivada is a Spanish word which means mass arrival. So this Arivada of this species only occurs. Others, 6 species of turtles, they don't behave in Arivada, but this is a species which occurs in Arivada, wherein more than 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs turtles comes together and lay their eggs on a single beach. And the night, even a bit of sleep also I did not have yesterday night. Right now, the Arivada is going on in one of the sites in Odisha, Sikulia, wherein yesterday at least I witnessed more than 1 lakh turtles on the beach. So I was there from 11 o'clock in the night till 6 o'clock in the morning before it was the time to Bhubaneswar. So, however, the population is unknown. Why? Because you say that you have 2.5 lakh turtle nesting in one place, and other you are saying that you don't know the population. This Arivada do not occur everywhere along the coast of India or elsewhere. Only we are very fortunate that on the coast of Odisha we have 2 such sites. One is Gairimata and another is Sikulia. Other than that, we have only Westernal in Costa Rica. So other than that, 3 sites, there are no other sites where these turtles comes in Arivada. So because of that, we do not know much about the population. Thankfully, the government of India placed this animal in the Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act, where it is supposed to enjoy the same status of a tiger as that happened, but that is not happening for some other reason. Population is now downgraded from endangered to vulnerable. We should feel happy that our population are increasing. The species which were there at one point of time endangered are increasing. Their population are definitely increasing. I can cite 2 very successful stories in Odisha. One is definitely the saltwater crocodiles, and another is probably, if one wants to give example, then definitely it will be Olympic turtle. So the cycle, as you know, half of the period of its life it remain in the sea. Not half, 80% of the time it remain in the sea, and 20% of the time it has to come out for laying eggs. The female, only the female, not the male. Male remain their life, except for the few hours it sees will hatch out from the nest. It remain on the beach, and after that, throughout its life, it remain in the sea. However, female has to come and lay eggs. So this is the typical cycle of the olive red turtles, the life cycle of the olive red turtle. So there are 3 parts basically: the critical habitat in the sea, the beyond the beach, and on the beach. And these are all documented through various techniques. So what are those techniques? There are techniques like clipper tagging, there are techniques like satellite transmitter, and other like feed tag transmitter and other techniques. Right now, at the moment, yesterday night, we have tagged, madam, 650 turtles on the beach of Sikulia. So the clipper tagging is going on. So just for the benefit of the students, I would like to again inform here that these are the types of tags that are used. One is the cow ears tag. You are all familiar what is the cow ears tag. These are basically metal tags which are placed on the flipper of the turtle. You can see in the picture. Here, the metal tag is placed on the first and second scale of the front flipper. Other than that, we have the satellite transmitter which are placed on the carapace of the turtle with the antenna in it, and I will be briefing more on that. And then we have also feed tag which are inserted, and it is identified through barcoding. So why we need to do this exercise is, as I said, that we know very little about the population and biology of this animal. Yesterday night there were some forest officials, like forest trainees from Angul. They were there on the beach and they were asking very curious questions. And I feel very sorry that 50 years passed in Odisha. I think 1973-74 we started olive red sea turtle research in Odisha. 50 years have passed, and we have not known anything other than how many turtles come to the beach, or what is the sex determination, or things like that, which are like initiative of the Utkal University and Samurpur University. So more information is required on this species, and whatever we know on the beach, once the turtle go into the sea, we do not know anything. What is the reproductive patch? How big it is? How long they come? A very, very curious, very bizarre kind of questions that we come across with. Yesterday we got a turtle which was tagged in the sporadic nesting time somewhere in January, and it was caught in Tamil Nadu, in the Madras Coast. The Student Sea Turtle Network, they have caught this turtle yesterday night. And I was like, flat, within a period of 35-40 days, how come a turtle gone from Tusikulia to Tamil Nadu? We think that this turtle should have remained there till April or May. Similarly, last year, 2nd of April 2022, we put a tag, clipper tag, and that was caught on the November 28 at Veruwala beach in Sri Lanka. And that is on the western coast of Sri Lanka. So what is the migratory route? So there's a lot of questions which are still we are figuring out how to answer these questions, and I don't know how long it will take to answer these critical questions. Nevertheless, so just again, these are the tag details, like we have the clipper tag, the Kavios tag. One side our address is written, the Zoological Survey of India and email ID, and other side the serial number of the tag is written. Nowadays it is all in electronic world, so anybody who catch a tag definitely has an email access also. Supposed to have email access or nearby places you can inform and where we will get the information, and like that we are getting a lot of information. So what this inconal tag speaks about, the mark and recapture, what we all studied in our BSc and NSc level about the population estimation. So the basic biology to know about a animal, and tag recovery also provide the population characteristic, migratory path, as I said, it was caught from Beruwala, internesting migration, like how far they are coming for nesting, and the growth rate of the turtle. Because when we take a turtle, we also take the measurement. So next time we catch the same turtle, how much it has grown size. So as you see, this picture, this is the earlier tag by Dr. Vivas Pandav from Wildlife Institute of India, where it says that turtle also migrate between these localities, like the Gairmata turtle can come to Delhi or can come to Rushikulia. The Rushikulia can go to Gairmata. So basically, these are the take-home message is that these are not three populations, but these are one population which are roaming everywhere along the Odisha coast. Also, the earlier tag return says that they are caught from the western coast of Trincomalee and Kalmunai, all these areas. So, but my tag now, what I got a tag is somewhere here. Veruwala. So the question arises that whether these turtles are migrating through the Bay of Bengal on the eastern coast of Sri Lanka, or they are going through the Past Bay. So this again open up a lot of questions about the developmental activities, what is being planned in the northern Bay of Bengal, northern Indian Ocean and Bay of Bengal area. So these are some of the earlier data of the tag returns, like we have got. On various occasions, various tag returns, and even as I said, the Arivada turtles comes in and nest in sporadically, and sporadic turtles also join in Arivada, things like that. And this tagging exercise, again for the benefit of the students, I would like to show some pictures here. Like it's very tedious exercise because we not only tag turtles on the beach, but we also tag turtles catching from the sea, because then only you will be able to catch it, tag a male turtle. Male turtle never comes to the beach. So we catch the turtles, place them on a soft surface, then take the morphological measurement, including we use a tree caliper also because this has a better accuracy, and then place the tag on the clipper on the first and second scale of the front clipper, and check whether it is correctly done or not, and then release back to the sea. So there are at least some good publications which has come out of the tag studies, like the beach fidelity of polypedal turtle along Odisha coast, or how much they have to their natal beach and things like that. So the earlier now comes to my original topic of the satellite telemetry. Earlier we have studied this turtle migration and movement through putting 4 transmitters. At that time, point of time probably were poor, like you could only could afford to put 4 transmitters because these transmitters are very costly. So in 2001, we placed 4 transmitters. Professor Datta is sitting here, he is witness to it. We put it in Devi, Rukeri, one of the sites in Orissa coast. And further, we, through the funding support from the Indian Oil and the Director General of Hydrocarbon, we place some more transmitters. So these are the 3 areas we put the satellite transmitters: the Gairmatha Rukeri, the Rushikulia Rukeri, and Devi, where these turtles are known to come in large numbers. How we select these transmitters? There are several companies who make transmitters. As I said, I am not going to tell on the animal science, but the technology behind it. There are several for the benefit who are going to do this kind of research for future. It is a take-home message for them. Like there are a lot of companies who make transmitters, but you have to look at what kind of specification you want, what kind of data you want, what kind of duration you want, and then based on that you have to select a transmitter. The cost effectiveness of the transmitter, because these transmitters are very costly. At that point of time, I remember each transmitter used to cost somewhere around $3,000. And the more than the transmitter cost is the cost of the transmission. So that I will be again discussing. So we selected the SharpTrack, one company called SharpTrack, to this experiment. On the body of the transmitter, the address of the institute is written. At that time, I was associated with the Wildlife Institute of India. So this is the address on the body of the transmitter, and the transmitter has an antenna, and there are 2 switches. These are called saltwater switch. So how it functions basically, the transmitter is fixed on the body of the turtle, and then once the transmitter is fixed and the turtle keep on swimming, whenever it comes up like above the surface of the water, the saltwater switch just get disconnected. The moment the saltwater switch get disconnected, it the battery get charged and it transmits a signal. Signal is basically the geocoordinates from where the turtle is swimming. And this is the protocol, like catching the turtles from the sea, as well as on the beach, taking their physical measurement and putting a internal tags there, because to identify by chance the turtle transmitter is lost or somehow damaged or something, at least the internal tags are there to identify where it was caught and place the transmitter. Then we have taken the measurement of the turtle, the morphometric measurement of the turtle, and then cleaning the surface, because the turtles, when they come to the beach, they are with lot of epibinds, so and greasy material like oily materials will be there on the body. So you have to nicely clean and then put ethanol surface cleaning basically clearly, and then there is a glue called epoxy resin, which is put on the body of the turtle, like the carapace, as well as on the transmitter. These are basically the masonry people who work on construction of house and all. So this is a very strong fixative. The moment it fixes, it will not detach. The carapace will break, but the transmitter will not detach from the body. So, and it is a permanent, like fixing of the transmitter on the body of the turtle. So once it is fixed, it is smoothened so that the aerodynamic city of the animal doesn't affect. And then we put a anti-fouling pants on that, so that no further barnacles or any kind of algal growth or anything happen on the saltwater switches as well as other areas which might impact the transmission. So then one of the great scientists, Dr. C.S. Kar, who is no more with us, was also involved with us in this project. He was the pioneer for sea turtle research in Odisha. And then we release back to the sea. Now, once they go back to the sea, we have no further action, or that is gone from our hand. We cannot do anything on that. Now, the job of the transmission. Now, all these transmissions are sent to one company called Argos, who maintain a database in an Argos satellite. And what happened, it is very tricky in the sense that the turtle has to come to the surface, like above the water, and this, as you know, the satellite is always revolving. The satellite should face towards the earth. So when both are interconnected, then only it can able to catch a signal. The turtle antenna will transmit a signal, and the satellite will catch that signal. Now the satellite, if it is a 90 degree, then it will catch the best signal, that is LC3 we call it. And if it is like somewhere 45 degree or 60 degree, it will catch a LC1 signal or LC2 signal. So what will happen? LC basically location. So LC3 signal is basically the point accurate where the turtle was there. And LC1 is maybe 1 kilometer, 1.5 kilometer, 2 kilometer radius the turtle could have been there. So that's kind of accuracy you have to, and the more accurate the signal, the more you have to pay. So at that point of time, like for each signal, we used to pay $5. Whether you like or you don't like, the moment you transmit a signal to your email, you have to pay $5 for that particular signal. So this is the way the signal used to come. It comes in the form of geocoordinates, and once you plot them with the geocoordinates, you will get the tracking route. So these dots are basically the transmitter which will fit on the turtles. These are serial number of the transmitter basically. So all total we have fixed 70 transmitters, which was a huge number and probably world's largest number of turtles that were attacked in Odisha ever. And now you get a bizarre picture of like this, the zigzag movement of these animals, the entire Bay of Bengal. Now earlier we were thinking that they go up to Sri Lanka. Now they may be U-turn. Some of the turtles, they do not go to Sri Lanka, they remain in the Odisha coast. They remain in the central Bay of Bengal. Some of them go up to South Bay of South Bengal and come back. So a lot of zigzag motion we have received on the migration and movement of these turtles. So this is very interesting to observe, what we were thinking, what we were knowing, and further enhancing our knowledge through use of technology. So these are some of the pictures of, and finally what I conclude that these turtles are nomadic. They don't behave, they don't follow any rules. So I call them nomadic movement of turtles along the way. See, they are everywhere, they are there. So this is the peculiarity of the PTT transmission. Now, every technology, there are also some drawbacks. So there are also non-responding transmitter. We have also lost a quite good number of transmitters out of 70. I think 5 or 6 transmitters did not respond at all. So if transmitter doesn't respond, then you lost that money, like putting money into the water. Once you release the turtle into the sea, you can't do anything with that. So there are some cases where transmitter did not respond, or if responded also, they did not respond for very long time. And also I would like to tell you here that we have published a paper in Colonial Conservation and Biology a couple of years back. We have the longest tracking time of turtle, 4,800 kilometers in 358 days, which is like a record for olive red turtle. Nowhere in the world one single transmitter has responded for 358 days. So these are some of the non-responding transmitter also. We are so sorry that some of the transmission they lost in 15 days, 1 month time. Some transmission lost in 6 months time. It all depends on basically how much the battery consumption is there, because it has a battery, it is a silent battery, and once the battery exists, your transmission is 0. So the reason we identify could be mortality of turtles. As you know, along the Odisha coast, large number of turtles die. Battery failure could be possible. Antenna failure, because these are female turtles. So when the next mating season, the male mount of the female, there is a transmitter in there. And when the male mount of the female, definitely the antenna, there is a chance of damage of the antenna. Or maybe there is some technical fault, because these are all on experimental basis. But I am happy that we got quite a good amount of data using this modern technique of satellite transmitter on olive red turtle. This is the picture of 2001, and this is the picture of 2007-9. Further, in coming years, we will be able to know more. If you fix more transmitter on this olive red turtle, there will be more biological information. And this is all about my talk. And because of that reason, in all forum, I used to say that I'm still an amateur turtle biologist. I do not know anything about this species. Please do not ask. Thank you. And if you have really some curious question, I will welcome to take that. And finally, these are the people who are inducted for their funding support and so the science and technology, which right now I have a SAR project under which I am doing the tagging. Dr. Datta was the committee man who has recommended this project should be there. And Zoological Survey of India definitely my own ministry, Wildlife Institute of India through which we did this tracking, and the Director General of Hydrocarbon who have funded satellite transmission.
Thank you, Dr. Tripathi. That was a wonderful talk. And I'm pretty sure there will be hundreds of questions in the mind of youngsters, especially when you are blessed with such a huge coastline with so much of biodiversity, and people would like to take up it as a career and really want to contribute because it is so exciting. Thank you so much for that. I personally have one question which I cannot resist to ask. Nomadic turtles, as you have mentioned, are they from the same species or they're?
These turtles in the Bay of Bengal are 99% they are polybraided.
Okay.
Only 1% like green, hawksbill, all like that.
Thank you so much. Any question from the audience?
Right now, mass testing is going on. 2 lakhs. Yes, last night more than 1 lakh turtle nested. And right now, also there are maybe 5,000 turtle children there on the beach right now with this hot sun now. Yes.
Very quick, one question.
What is the effect of that radiation of transmitter on the growth of turtle?
We cannot hear
Radiation.
you.
What kind of radiation? Can you use your mic? I'm not able to be loud.
I'm asking what is the effect of radiation that for the you are using the transmitter for the
Yeah, transmitter do not have any radiation effect. There is no rays. These are just like our
radiation?
No, there are no such studies. Rather, and I don't think that any impact study has been done on the kind of radiation that will be transmitting from the body of the turtle to the satellite, you mean to say, no? Just like you use the mobile phone. Yeah, so there is no such studies done. We really do not.
Thank you.
Now, may I request Professor Giri to felicitate Dr. Tripathi. We come to the end of this session and extend my heartfelt thanks to Professor Sapani Giri for chairing the session. There will be a tea break 10 minutes. So by say 12:20 we should be back for the next session. And in the meanwhile, we are having a parallel session of a poster presentation. So first lot, I think they are there. And I would like to request the second lot, number 60 to 80 to be available near their posters. And those who have completed should come back to this hall. Thank you very much.